One. After one is Seto, and we're here live with the Put It in the Book show. It's been about a month, fellas.
Yes,
been about a month. Glad to be back talking some Mets baseball right before the end of the year. I am Steve, as always. I got Rodriguez right here next door.
Welcome.
What's up, sir? How's it going?
It's going great, man.
You've had a birthday? You've had a birthday since last we spoke?
I've had a birthday. I'm a year older and not a year wiser.
Not a year wiser,
older.
Yeah.
You know, what can you do? I'm a Met fan.
I think that goes backwards sometimes.
It goes backwards. I'm trying to make it go backwards, but my hair's not cooperating.
Hey, did you let producer Joe out a little bit for the holidays, or?
It's crowded back here with Keith. It's getting very crowded. Very crowded.
Wait, it's dark too, isn't it?
Ooh.
It's crowded. It's dark. It's very depressing.
That's a tight fit.
Wow. All right, so
that's what she said.
Yeah, that's got to be what she said. And producer Joe also had some good stuff happened to him since last we spoke here. Yeah. Congratulations to producer Joe on winning the first annual Pop Culture Pros Fantasy Football League.
Congratulations. Number one. This is all for you, producer Joe. You're number one.
Yeah, I just it's unfortunate I had to tear through the rest of the show to get to the final, but it's all good.
Oh,
I know. Every dog has his day. I'm happy for you, producer Joe.
Thank you.
Yes, couldn't have happened to a better guy. Not
bigger asshole,
Steve Farace. All right, so Keith is going to join us on the flip side of the credit. Don't think that you got away with seeing him again this time. No, he's here. And speaking,
hemorrhoids.
You can never get rid of those things. So I've heard. Producer Joe, start us up.
Put up the bonus.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. After that brilliant little opening montage that we created here, Timmy.
We have to update it. Timmy, what's up, Timmy, man? Feel better, Timmy. Feel better.
I'm sure we had some incredible moments and reactions to this really.
You should have farted. You should have
illustrious
farted
year.
When you walked out. You should have farted out.
I don't know if I don't want to free Keith out there.
No, you just
Keith.
want to feel the wrath of the revenge. What would happen?
The wrath. I don't. Yeah, that's. I feel.
I would have broccoli cheese dip for 2 days straight before it over.
Oh my god!
And then I'd eat a hard-boiled egg on the ride.
Family wouldn't be able to sleep for a week.
Projectile diarrhea, man. Yeah, that's
terrible.
Those
terrible.
Are the parts that bring the heat.
Literally. Dom, what's up? Keith, what's going on with you, my friend? Got everything all fixed up? You got the brick wall back there. Looking good.
Yeah, I had to get my blue screen back up.
Dominic.
Over here in StreamYard, we're getting modern. We have the virtual backyard, but now I have to work on my lighting to adjust to that. But it is very cool that we finally have that option. So I will have that ready for our next podcast.
We'll get that all straightened out. But in the meantime, why don't you tell all these beautiful, beautiful people about Brooklyn Water Coffee?
Oh,
BrooklynWaterCoffee.com. Order now. Farace will give you $1 million.
Yes. Don't try and cash the check until next Friday, please.
Don't cash it at all because he doesn't have $1 million. But Farace's not giving you any.
How do you know, you son of a?
Oh, I just hacked your account the other day. I saw you have $33.64. But Farace.com.
Very specific.
Christmas.
FaraceCoffee.com. Okay, BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com. From their roastery to your front door. That means they deliver to you fresh. Within 24 hours of its roast date, you will have this wonderful bag
Succulent.
of coffee that you can squeeze and smell. Probably brew and drink.
Coffee fart.
Consume.
Mm.
They
That's a
have
classic.
an array of delicious
That
flavors
would
too.
kill
That's
'em.
one of the things I love about Brooklyn Water Coffee Roasters is their flavor
In and going.
menu, I guess you would say. One of my favorites is dark roast dark chocolate. It's a rich chocolatey. It's a dark roast coffee. It's rich and chocolatey, like Farace's bank account, and it also has a really
that mean?
distinct flavor and smell when you brew it, like Farace's farts.
Delicious.
And if you act now, you can get a bag with how many calories, Farace?
Absolutely zero.
Actually, they always have 0 calories. It's a guilt-free, delicious coffee from BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com. Then I got to really look up their flavors because I'm sure they have some more out there. But one of my favorite is Morning Wood, no pun intended. It's actually a really delicious flavor. It also has how many calories, Farace?
Absolutely zero.
And I'm kind of multitasking because I can do that.
Wow.
Trying to look up the
Oh my
flavors.
God.
The stunned look upon our faces.
I'm reading it. No, I'll read it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm doing some live on air research right now because a couple of the other flavors they have is also Drunken Pig. Actually, Drunken Pig is a really delicious flavor. It's a bacon bourbon coffee. Needless
It
say
is very
anymore,
good.
it's hard to believe that this tasty treat is non-alcoholic yet vegan friendly, and it's got bacon. It's got bourbon. How many calories come in that coffee, Farace?
Zero.
Boom, 0 calories. And if you act now, you can also order the special this time of year only, except it's all year round, Winter Wonderland coffee. It's a super rich coffee that offers a bold white chocolate. This has come right off the website. So if I sound canned, it's because it is. It's a bold white chocolate caramel and hints of coconut flavor. This is the universal sign for coconut flavor. This coffee is amazing, whether it's hot or cold.
Farace, shut up, coconut boy.
Yeah, I'm not looking at you guys. Are you done, Farace?
Disgusting.
BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com from their roastery to your front door. The coffee really is delicious. Go out there, try it
Very
out.
good.
There's a ton of flavors out there. You should really explore your palate. BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com. Act now. Use the code PopCulturePros. That's still in effect, Fretch?
Yeah.
You'll get your third bag free. So you have to order
You
2, and you get your third bag free. So stock up. Get your coffee.
Stock up, baby. Stock it up.
BrooklynWaterCoffeeRoasters.com.
Do it.
All right. What's up again to Tim and Dom and Ricky? Hello from Puerto Rico. Let's go Mets.
All
Yes.
right, welcome, Ricky.
What's going on?
That's what we like to hear around
Fantastic.
here, around these this neck of the woods. So
Puerto Rican
let's.
We are a very Puerto Rican friendly podcast.
Yes,
I would hope so.
we are very everything friendly. You
Everything.
you bastard.
Everything.
No, we're not.
You bastard.
friendly
Well,
towards
except
some
Yankee
things.
fans. We're not
And
that
Tim, well,
friendly,
it's
so
Tim. Tim.
That is Tim.
It's
We're
only,
not a
Um,
Braves friendly podcast.
it's only
We're not a Nationals
well,
friendly podcast.
Well,
Yeah.
we've had Braves fans,
absolutely. My buddy Chris,
watch and
he's
listen
a
in.
Braves fan.
Yeah,
They enjoy the show.
Well, that's what
everybody has their
As much as they
faults.
As much as they can understand it because they're so stupid, the Braves fans.
They are.
Well, if he's
they
a
are
Braves
pretty
fan,
dumb.
he's watching us. That's what I call him.
Oh!
And I'm not talking about the river in Egypt. Oh, hey,
Oh, all right. Can you tell it's the last show of the year? All right, let's dive into some Mets stuff. Since the last time we've been on, we have a manager. We can't talk about any players because there's no movement because we're in a lockout.
I mean, we.
However,
We're not hampered by these rules.
well, I mean player movement. There's been no movement on the player front. But Buck Showalter is the newest, and when I say newest, the 24th manager of the New York Metropolitans. We've been talking about this for a little while now, and we talked a lot about not bringing in another rookie guy, right? So here comes 65-year-old Buck Showalter, who
Why do I hate when you say it?
sorry, who took offense, which I appreciated. And Rodriguez, you mentioned the opening press conference a couple weeks ago, so we will dive into all that. But he took offense to some saying that he's not an analytical guy. But the part that I liked the most about around that subject was like he said, no, the reason for us losing will never be because somebody else has better information than we do. So I appreciate that, and I love the move. I think it was the best move that they could have made. And so let's go round robin. I know Rodriguez. I know you like the move. So talk about us.
Why do I like this move? Because when a player can come in from another team and take over your clubhouse, you don't have a manager. That's what happened last year with Baez, with Lindor. They took over the clubhouse. They took over the whole atmosphere. Next thing you know, you got all this nonsense going on. Okay, the manager we had couldn't handle it. Nice guy, probably going to be a pretty good manager someday, but he's got to become more assertive and more of a leader. He's got to be a manager in the role, not just a name. Okay, he's got to actually do the job.
Yep.
This guy Buck is going to do the job. Okay, no one on this team is going to get away with anything. He's going to make them earn it. He's going to make sure that they're on time. He's going to make sure he can do what he can do to make their life better. At the same time, they're going to have to follow some rules. They're going to have to be accountable. They're going to have to understand there's going to be a Met way of doing things. And if they can't do it the way the Mets want it done, then they can go on. It's gonna be that simple. I believe this is the right hire right now, man, because we want to win right now while developing some of these kids. Okay, That's why these guys are getting signed for only 2 and 3 years. They're not getting signed for long-term contracts, except someone like Lindor, who's arguably a superstar. He really is a top 5 player when he's going. All his skills, he's a fantastic player. However, you need a team around him, okay? Because he's not the type of guy that can do it all. So we got an owner that wants to spend money, and he's spending it. 4 or 5 free agents. We got a brand new manager who's an old manager who can actually run a team. That guy, they're not going to get away with anything. They're going to understand. Remember how mad I used to be last year when I tell you guys, they don't even know what they're doing. They're going up, they're clueless. They're letting fastball, meatballs go by like they don't know what the count is or what this guy throws. That's not going to happen with Buck. They're going to know exactly what's coming, what this guy does, what he throws. They're going to have a lot more information than they've ever had. Okay, so I believe this is the best shot right now for the next 2 or 3 years for us to be really, really competitive. I don't know about World Series, but I know we'll be in the hunt in the playoffs at least for the next 3 or 4 years.
So, a very interesting stat that a lot of Met fans will twist and turn upside down, I'm sure, is that Buck Showalter has the 3rd most wins, managerial wins in history without winning a World Series. And so I've already started to see that kind of stuff. All this time, old school, blah, blah, blah. Keith, there's success there, right? That means you're pretty darn successful, even if you have not won a World Series as a manager. But having the 3rd most victories, is it tenure? Is it whatnot? But just a little while ago, the Mets promoted Ben Zalzmer to assistant GM. He was brought over from the Dodgers to be the analytical expert. So now he's the assistant GM to our boy, and they brought in Buck Showalter. So what do you think?
Well, I think bringing in that GM is a great move. It's coming from a championship pedigree of the Dodgers, of course. Look what they've built in the last couple of years, and we're kind of following that model: spend whatever it takes, but spend wisely. So if you notice, we're spending money, but the caliber and type of player is consistent throughout all of that spending, except for maybe Lindor. Lindor is a little bit outside of that box, but like Rodriguez says, he is a superstar. So sometimes you make those exceptions, but you take somebody like a Marte, like anybody we've brought onto the team, even a Scherzer, right, which is a huge signing, but they all bring a certain attitude. They all bring a certain aura with them where a certain leadership value. And I think again, to Rodriguez's point, we were missing that in the clubhouse, right? Because Baez came over, and then you have he took the team over, and you have the thumbs down thing, and the fight in the hallway between McNeil and
What
um,
fight? Raccoon, man. Raccoon.
right, whatever, exactly.
Got jacked up
And
by
with
the
the
Puerto
proper
Rican.
leadership, the proper field management, things like that don't happen, and when they do happen, they're addressed immediately. They kind of let the players address that, and the players settle that, and it's not really best route in my opinion. And then in terms of Buck Showalter and the naysayers, yes, I get a lot of what they're saying, but they're misinformed because all those programs that he left went on to be major programs and win championships in a lot of cases after he left. He set up that franchise for Joe Torre. Yes, Joe Torre carried it, not taking anything away from him, but he set up that Yankee franchise for Joe Torre. And why he left, he wasn't fired. He left because they wanted him to fire some of his coaches, and he refused. So not only is he somebody who knows how to build a winning program, he's a person of integrity, and he did that in the beginning of his management career. So now with all that experience he has, going from top clubhouses to the absolute worst in Baltimore at the end of his career. He has so much experience and knowledge that he's bringing to the Mets on what to avoid and what to implement. He's witnessed terrible losing. He's witnessed great winning. Um, and
He's New York tough.
Yeah, he is New York tough. He's I think he's from Texas, and I like these ball players from Texas, right? Nolan Ryan.
He's actually, you know where he's from? He's actually from Florida. Actually from
really?
the panhandle of Florida.
Oh, I don't know about him anymore.
I'm talking about him being a manager. New York tough.
Yeah,
you can take anything that happens in New York.
But I really like the move. I think it was a great move. I'm sad to see what's his name go. I forgot his name already.
You're so sad. You're so broken up about it. Look at the tears. Oh, what's his name?
I'm so sad to see him go. I wish he could have stayed in the organization as a coach or in the minor leagues.
See you go.
But this was the right move if you're looking to win a championship. So sit back, relax, and strap on your seatbelts because the Mets are taking us for a ride, folks.
A couple of comments to catch up on. Tim obviously mentioned Joe Torre was like that once, one of the most amount of wins without winning a World Series. That turned around. So, and then Ricky is playing GM here. I want McNeil for Minaya, which I like everything that you're putting in here. Dom Smith and JD Davis for Justin Bieber. And then signing Chris Bryant. Hey,
right away.
If we can get that done right after pronto, but
they're just gonna let Bieber go for Smith and Davis.
Do it. What are they called again? The Guardians of Cleveland.
No, Guardians.
The Guardians.
Well, all right. So, speaking of kind of like what you guys were saying about having the New York pedigree, he talked about the excuse of basically saying not everybody can hack it in New York, and it was an interesting conversation because he actually grew up in a town of about 2,000 people, and so they said, how the heck did you succeed in New York City? Growing up in an area like that. He said, my mom and my dad were very heavily involved in my life. They got me ready for anything, and so I was ready to take on New York City. So,
what is it? There's no place like New York to expose a phony or
fraud.
A phony
fraud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about it. The ease that he had in that interview when the Mets introduced him. How easy and he was joking around, but at the same time, he was in command of the interview. He was pretty much telling them what he wanted to say, what he wanted to tell them. He was at ease. I mean, you got a guy with all that experience at ease in New York, not worried about what calls to make because he's not going to worry about Sandy Alderson calling down and telling him what to do because Sandy Alderson doesn't believe in telling them his managers what to do either.
Right.
So it kind of works both ways, He seems to be the right guy for us, man. We made a real good baseball decision as a Met fan. It makes me feel weird.
It's weird, right?
I'll be honest with you
twice already, Rodriguez. Passed up on him twice. We could have had him 3 years ago.
I know. I mean, but it's such a good decision, guys. That like as a Met fan, I don't know if I can make it through to with this season and not believe that that I'm in some other dimension because this is a solid, perfectly well executed
The multiverse,
baseball
baby.
decision. So I'm in the multiverse. Spider-Man has got to be Miles. I'll take Miles Morales because I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah. Hey, as long as they are each a Met fan in their own multiverse, we're all
They
good
have
there.
to be.
Ricky reiterates here, if it could happen, it'd be DeGrom and Scherzer and Manaea, Bieber and Walker. I mean
No. Well,
what do you do at that point? You give them the
listen,
parade now.
you gotta
Don't-
you gotta have a really good season from Carrasco. He's important. If he comes back and he's the same type of pitcher he was in Cleveland after having this time off and stuff, that's a big arm there, guys, because he
And
can
hopefully a
throw.
full healthy season. Yeah.
And a full healthy season, he can throw. He's a good pitcher. So I think right now we have 6 pitchers that can get on the hill for us and give us competitive games. You know, the
Yeah.
Grom, Scherzer, you got Taiwan, you got Carrasco, you got McGill, and you got Peterson. That's 6 guys that you can throw in there that can pitch and have been proven to pitch. But you know, I like a nice other pitcher. Like,
Well,
one of
bring
the
me
other two
Bieber.
that's right there.
Ricky got me excited.
I take Bieber. I would, you know, honestly, I would trade him for a McNeil, and
Yeah.
maybe a Smith if they need.
So let's dive into that part here now. So
Mhm.
even though there's a lockout, we're starting to hear all this about a potential trade for McNeil. Is he going to go on? And then there is a picture of Shane before he changed his name to Justin.
He'll look good in that hat.
So yeah, cover up that
Cover
nonsense
up that
there.
mop of hair,
He's the
whatever you got
he's the
there.
pitcher half flipper. He's the
Right.
half flipper of pitchers.
So it's tough. It's tough right now because we don't know what McNeil could bring back right now. So it's tough to say, oh yes, I would, or no, I wouldn't. I would trade most players in the right situation if it made our team better. If it made our team better. I don't want to, Keith, but all right, would you trade Pete Alonso? No, Keith. Just unless it makes our team better. Don't look at me in that
I
attitude.
never said
I'm
that.
saying sign Trevor Story to play third or second and ship off McNeil and Smith in a package, and you get Bieber.
Okay.
Done.
Okay,
McNeil's
Cleveland.
name is coming up a lot. So
Yeah.
suddenly he's in rumors, right? I mean, so how is he in rumors when nobody's supposed to be talking about players in Major League?
Well, that's clearly a leak there,
Come on.
but
is it a strategic leak?
Ow.
no, I don't know what kind of
Fuera.
leak it is because if you think that this is the right time to trade him, then that means Mr. Gines, what's up? Then that means you think he's got decent amount of value. You're not going to trade something in unless you get value in return, right?
Farace. He wants
I
to
know.
playing
Well,
golf.
why
I
are they
told
looking
you
to
that.
trade him?
I told
Is
you guys
it
that.
because he plays golf, or is it because he has some kind of attitude issue?
The attitude is why. It's the reason why.
But
for
I
me,
feel like
he plays
he's
golf.
a good
I'll cut
Buck
him.
Showalter type of a player, a gritty.
I don't think he's going
I-
anywhere.
Listen, I'm gonna contradict
Honestly.
myself. I like him too. I like to keep him because he's talented. He's talented, and I like McNeil. He's squirrel, you know. But he can't act up and then be mad at the whole team for his stupid swing when he plays golf the off season. I mean, you could tell he's trying to hit a golf ball almost. Come on.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, the line drives to left field stopped, and
Yeah,
the
he's trying to get
strikeouts
lit.
started accumulated. And God forbid we can a little bit of give and take there. Maybe get a few walks here and there, but no, that don't happen either.
Yeah.
I personally don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's not a free agent until 2025.
That's the
good
bigger
piece,
thing now.
right? Keith, he's
That's
a
why
good
I'm saying
piece.
you can't just if you're the Mets. If let's say this is totally legitimate, how could you? How do you trade him unless you're gonna get the value that is the type of hitter that he's shown to be, not last year, and the type of versatility that he's got. He could play 17 different positions, and he's under team control for 3 more years. So it has to
Listen,
be a
It has to be a
decent
Bieber-esque
haul back, you
move.
know.
has to be an MVP type of player coming back to us. Something that
Shane.
some,
We see Justin Bieber coming back,
Yes.
and we're all in trouble. But if he does it for Shane Bieber, if he's a part of that deal, then it is what it is, obviously. But
it has to happen now though, because our pitchers are old. Let me tell you something.
Well, right after the lockout,
Listen,
put the call in.
I don't know. Scherzer and DeGrom, they don't give me a lot of confidence that they can go a full season, especially not DeGrom. That's why I don't know why they don't go to a 6-man rotation.
Well, that's what the Angels promised Syndergaard, and now he went over there. Maybe that's
Syndergaard's a vagina.
all right. So speaking of other moves that have happened, guys we've brought in, guys we've lost. So going through the losses, is it a backbreaker, backbreaking loss, or is it perhaps addition by subtraction? So you got Noah Syndergaard goes to the Angels. Addition by subtraction, backbreaker somewhere in the middle.
I don't think he was a problem.
I thought I was going to say this is Rodriguez tippy-toeing around not to say anything.
I don't think he
nice
was a
about
problem.
him.
I don't think he was a problem per se, but I think because if he was told to shut up, he would. Yep. You know, like it wasn't like they told him something, he barked back at them. If he said something wrong, he would admit to it, or shut up, or just adhere to the team concept. I don't think he was an issue that way, but he was a vocal player, so maybe he was in that whole clan of guys that just chirped a little too much.
I think he had a little bit of lack of discipline with that his workout regimen. But I think the team is partly to blame for that when he pulled that lat and all that kind of things. I don't blame him solely for that, although he should be in charge of his own self. And I don't think he was a nuisance in the clubhouse, like you said. He's a social media presence, but I never saw that as being an issue. I don't think he was too bad. I think that for him, it was an opportunistic thing. I think there was, at the time when he took that deal, some uncertainty around the Mets, and we've discussed this before. And he was looking for an opportunity to make something of himself because, quite frankly, he has not in the last 3 years. And he needed that opportunity to prove himself, to get that big contract going into the 2023 season. So he signed that 1-year deal, and he felt the Angels were a better opportunity with their lineup. If he was patient and stuck around, he'd be better off with us. So joke's on you, Syndergaard. But, he did what he felt was good for himself, and you really can't blame somebody for that, but go screw yourself. But I hope he does well and he comes back, and if he doesn't, I hope he's terrible. But,
All right, so going through a couple more here. Rich Hill goes to the Red Sox, not a backbreaker, just informative information.
Spot filler, anyway.
Aaron Loop,
solid pitcher.
I mean, but that's not it's not a huge loss to us.
No, we can replace that. We can replace Rich Hill.
Aaron Loop goes to the Angels, follows Noah alongside. Aaron Loop had a historic season last year. Wouldn't think that he would duplicate that because that was just insane, but give me 75% of that again, and he's worth it.
He's an all-star.
So he heads to the Angels as well. Obviously, they're trying to improve their pitching over there, and they brought in that other kid from the Reds, Michael, the guy that hits home runs also.
It's a very special thing when you have a bullpen pitcher who is consistent. So coming off his top year, based off of history, like you said, it's not likely he's going to even come anywhere close to that. Does he have the talent to keep him around? I think so. Mets didn't think so for some reason. I don't know why. But it's really hard. It's a real special thing when you find a bullpen pitcher who is consistent year in and year out. So I understand the Mets taking a flyer on that one or not taking a flyer on that one, I should say, and just kind of letting him go.
Yeah. All right. So the two big ones that would have biggest impacts on the Mets from a rotational standpoint is Marcus Stroman goes to the Cubs, and I don't know why if I've been just like out there in La La Land all this time, but I just saw what his contract was. 3 years, $71 million. I don't know why today was the first time I saw that, and he's got an opt out after year 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he's already connecting with those Chicago fans over there on Twitter, on the Twitterverse. You know, it's like you're stalking X, see what he's up to, and he's like mingling with the Cubs fans, little Cubs fan kids wearing his jersey. What do you think about this one, guys? The mistake?
They're like the Midwest version of Met fans, passionate, a lot of losing in their history, and they'll blast you when you suck.
Oh, for sure.
You know, so I think he's fitting into a similar mold that he's leaving in the Mets in terms of the city and its surrounding and fans and press and stuff like that. But I think this move of not even making him an offer that I'm aware of anyway has to do again with clubhouse. I liked Stroman. I liked him a lot. He was a spark plug, but from what I've been hearing and seeing, he was somewhat of a clubhouse disruption. I'm not sure how. I'm only giving you, third hand what I'm hearing, but he was somewhat of a clubhouse disruption, and that's what the Mets are trying to get away from.
All the guys that were let go were talkative guys. Syndergaard, Stroman, now McNeil, guys that are high, that are volatile, just high presence. They want to try to get that team concept really into their heads, that they're not going to allow, they're not going to tolerate that, and they're going to get rid of that old clique if they have to, just to win games. Like, you got to perform. It's time to put up and shut up, and and that's where I think Buck Showalter is gonna make his presence known. He's gonna let them know that they have to do their thing.
Yeah, and I'm being very open-minded to all that because, hey, everything we've been doing in the past has not worked. So if this works, let's do it.
Yeah, that's the big question mark, especially with a guy like Stroman, who is the talking work worth, or the strutting around the mound worth what you get on the field? I think so. I didn't
have a problem with Stroman either. I really like Stroman. I think he's super competitive, and that's what makes
Gold
him
Glove
that way. Gold Glove, super competitive, team guy, pretty much all the way. I don't know. I would have
something must have been happening behind the scenes that rubbed Steve or all this in the wrong.
Well, he doesn't like the media, and I mean, it's going to be the same thing. I mean, Chicago a few rungs down, but the one thing he did, he used to call out broadcasters for saying negative things, and I even think that he said something about our broadcast team, but still, we're trying to win baseball games here.
He's going to say what he wants to say.
Yeah,
he
didn't say anything negative about any of the three guys. He just says kind of like, they should be more homer than they are, but that's what makes our broadcast team pretty good. The Keith Hernandez sighs when we mess something up, oh Lord, those type of things. Ron Darling, what are we doing out there? Those types of things. I like that. All right, so Stroman goes to the Cubs, 3 years for 71. Baez, Mr. I don't care about winning anymore, apparently, goes to the Detroit Tigers on a 6-year, $140 million deal. He didn't even get so far, he didn't even get the highest.
That was money.
Highest dollar amount of a shortstop yet. Simeon got $175 million from the Rangers leaving Toronto. So Javi Baez out. So how many more games under 500 would we have been if we didn't have Javi Baez and Stroman? Lindor got hurt. Everybody was struggling. Then here comes Baez. Hitting 292 for us. Strikeouts went from 44% down to like 28% or 31%, something like that. So that's my concern with these two guys going out, and I can see the Baez thing more, just because of he did talk a lot in a short amount of time. But I would have loved to have, seen Stroman stick around because we need pitching. Pitching rules all, and no matter what we have, it's never we have too much pitching. That's never ever going to be the case. So, and then you let him go for what? I mean, these days, less than $25 million a year for an all-star caliber guy that can pitch lights out for you and is a Gold Glove defender. And I think the Cubs got a bargain. To be honest with you. All right, and
he went fairly cheap too. If you ask me, I mean,
he went a lot cheaper than I thought. Last off season that he would go.
Yeah, well, 6 years, 140 mil.
Yep.
But let's be honest, the similarity between the both of them is, like Roger was saying, they're very loud, boisterous players. They're out there, and the Mets. It seems, it's not that it was said, I'm just from my observation, that they don't want to be involved in those kind of ball players anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna trust.
And the Detroit media might be slightly less intrusive.
I'm gonna trust whatever their plan is.
Slightly.
And
they're scared to go to the ballpark themselves.
They're like, Baez, that guy over there. I can see him in the white shirt because there's only 17 people here. He's booing me. He's got thumb down. Have him removed from the stadium, please.
Baez, he'll do good over there.
All right. So now focus on the incoming part of this here. Eduardo Escobar, Marcana, and Starling Marte were the that rush right before the Scherzer signing, and right after Steven Matz's agents pissed Cohen's the Cohens is off. And so you get these guys in here. Eduardo Escobar has a lot of power. He can play second base. He can play third base. The two puzzle pieces that, well, one that we could be missing if we make a deal. Connor to possibly play right field, and we'll talk about why that might have to be in a few minutes. And Starling Marte, I wanted him last year. He's a menace on the base paths. He gets on base. He hits for contact. Doesn't strike out. He's that guy. And another guy who can be a Gold Glover. And who steals 46 bases now these days?
And
that adds a whole new element.
At 32 years
33.
old.
Yep.
So hopefully he's got another year or two left in him at that pace.
Yeah. Give me 25. 25 is got to be top 5 in the league these days. Stolen bases. That's and that'll be something that Showalter will like. A throwback guy, speed on the bases, wreak havoc.
We need like 6 outfielders because Nimmo is always going to get hurt.
Who we're going to extend. Right? We're going to sign him to an extension.
You're going to sign him to an extension for another 5 years so he can be on the disabled list for 4 out of those 5 years. I guarantee it. Oh, my gosh.
You know what? Whatever they're going to pay him, it needs to be cheap because he doesn't stay on the field. When he's on the field, he's
you got to play by the game.
That's Rodriguez. You read my mind. The first ever contract played by the game. Yeah. That's how it's going to work out.
Yeah, the player association.
You could tell him for real. Tell him, Nimmo. Jesus Christ, man, stay on the field, dude.
Put it in the negotiations right now.
Every game.
Get this hammered out.
I give it to you cash.
Under the books.
Like, you know what? Every time you walk, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring the bullpen cart in and drive you to first base. Stop running so hard.
Stop running to first base.
Take it easy.
Everything's moving around.
I know.
Stop doing it. All right, all right. So let's talk about the big fish. Is Max Scherzer? He comes in. He's just a beast, right? So twofold there. We snatch him up from the perennial National League representatives in the World Series, the Dodgers, who also lost their starting shortstop to the Rangers, who spent a shit ton of money. So you got Scherzer coming in to be, this is going to sound weird, but Max Scherzer to be the number 2 to DeGrom's 1. It had to happen, and then Cohen went out of his way, dinner and this and that, and oh, by the way, here's all this money too. So he comes in, and oh, by the way, he wants Buck Showalter also. So, and now here we are. We got Buck Showalter. Maybe who's just right about him being the right guy. But talk about Scherzer. This is gonna feel so freaking weird to root for Max Scherzer. It's gonna be so weird. Yeah, of course it is.
Once he has that uniform on, he has the orange and blue, and he's on that mound with his orange in his blue eye.
He's got to put the orange in.
Blue eye already.
He's got to do it. He's got to do it.
So I mean, come on, the guy's a monster, man. The guy comes to compete. He's a guy you don't want to face. That's the guy you want on your team. The guy that you never want to face. Because he's gonna go out there and he's gonna try to nail these guys down. He's gonna just try to mow them down, and do his thing. Max Scherzer was a really good signing. If he has 75 to 80% of his skill left for the next 2 or 3 years,
yes.
We've made a good let's win now type of signing. Everything is to win now, guys. So I'm looking at it that way. I'm looking at we want to win now, and
for the love of God, please, baseball gods.
I love the Scherzer signing, and not only because of the talent he brings to the table. I think what he brings to the clubhouse, that competitiveness, and it reminds me going back to his Nationals day. Was it him who started fighting with Hair Flipper? It was Scherzer.
It
right?
was that was
Jonathan dugout.
Papelbon. That was Papelbon.
Okay.
Papelbon with Hair Flipper? Oh yeah, but each other, right? They were fighting each other, right?
Yes.
Scherzer brings a fierce competitiveness with him that, quite frankly, the Mets lack. DeGrom's pretty competitive, but he's more a quiet, within himself, competitive, and he goes out there and he attacks.
He's what we wanted Harvey to become.
Right. Just that fierce, angry competitor who just doesn't give up. Fuck, because if I spell it, it's not as dirty.
Fuke.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Okay.
And he gets up there and he'll get in your face. He'll pitch inside. He wants to win and he's hungry to win. We quite frankly, we haven't had that in quite some time. And I think he brings that with him, and it's almost as important as what he'll be doing on the field, because that kind of competitive nature and competitive attitude gets to be contagious within the clubhouse. And hopefully it spreads to our lineup as well.
Keith, think about it, Keith. We go into a 3-game series and we have DeGrom and Scherzer pitching the first 2 games. We have a 90% chance of taking 2 out of 3. I mean, we're really solid on that. If they're just pitching at their normal
or at least not giving up many runs. Let's see. We always think our stupid offense is fixed. Always.
Oh,
well,
because you look at the names and you're like, oh, this is 6 runs a game here. Nope.
That's a good point. For
There's no hitting
we really need to worry about is our offense and the approach to the plate.
And so talk about hitting philosophy. Showalter has said that they're going to take their time. They're not rushing into anybody to fill the coaching staff. We know Hefner will be back as pitching coach, which rightfully so should be. They just need to figure out. Rodriguez, you preach that hitting philosophy. Get the guy that's out there somewhere. Bring in Hojo. Maybe they could part time.
Stop plugging you.
Keith Hernandez can be the hitting coach when they play in the East Coast. Hojo in Central Time, and maybe Keith wants to. Oh no,
Silly
Davis. He just wants his dad to have a job.
Give Hojo a job, man. Give the man a job. All right, so he said, let's take our time on this, and hitting philosophy and all this stuff. He's also this, and it just reminded me because I got Twitter up and there's a video of just Buck Showalter going nuts on this umpire. Maybe we'll get some of that. We need a little bit of fired up out there.
That's one of the first things I said. I can't wait till he comes in and gets to a fight and gets thrown out of the game.
They don't
As
want
long-
the '86 Mets. That's why they're getting rid of guys like Baez and Stroman. They don't want the '86 Mets. So
No, they don't. But Buck
as much
he's
as
a
we
fierce
do.
competitor also.
Bring him
As much
back.
he is a great leader, he's also a fierce competitor, and he protects his players. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's end this lockout, guys. Come on, get to
That's
it. Wake
chop,
up.
chop,
Let's
chop.
go. Wake up.
Good question, Ricky.
Well,
We don't know who the bench coach is going to be just yet. But bring in the smart guy so that when Buck gets thrown out of the games, we still got somebody else. What? Terzio's in a plane. Oh, you heading to Colombia? Is that where you're heading, Terzio? He's at JFK Airport. That must be a nightmare right now.
Yeah, seriously.
All
You made it in
right.
the plane. What are you going to see your ex-wife?
I think he's going to Colombia. I think this is a trip that he talked about a few weeks back on a show. Michael Conforto,
boy.
right fielder for the Mets for the last 6 years, is
Conforto.
seemingly. It's. I mean, it does
It better not be
seem
the Marlins or the Phils. I know.
that he's kind of done. I have heard that the Marlins have reached out, the Phillies have reached out, and the Braves have reached out. Oh, you just got back from Colombia,
Go to the
Terzio.
Rays.
Send
Okay.
pictures. So Conforto could be playing right field or left field if he went to Philadelphia, if he were to go to Philly, or the Braves, who would get all their guys back. The Braves need somebody to fill that spot that the what was domestic violence, right? What's the guy's name that played left field for the Braves?
Not Soto.
Left
No.
field.
Yeah. Ozuna.
Ozuna.
Oh,
He had a domestic violence situation, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think so.
he did.
So yeah,
And Chip was
okay.
going to sign with the Blue Jays.
Yeah. Cortez says I see Conforto with the Marlins. I don't know.
I hope not.
Marlins
I
actually
don't go to the
spending a
Marlins.
little bit of money.
I mean, why not? They can spend the money. They have a nice upcoming team.
Well, they tried to re-sign Marte, and he was like, "No.
You know,
I'm
he's
heading
going
to the
to
city,
be
guys."
perennial Met killer, Conforto, if he stays in the division.
I would like to keep him, man. I would still bring him back, that
So-
charlatan. I would still bring him back.
Why do you think the
I
Mets
just-
are
his
not
swing is
interested
so
in
good.
keeping him? Or seemingly, anyway, seems like they're not interested in keeping him. I don't think it's a money thing, right? Because
I don't-
we're throwing
No,
money
I
out
don't
there.
think so.
I don't think it's a priority for them, but I don't know. I don't know. Like right now, the radio silence. We don't know if he would have signed by now or not. But because of the lockout, we're not going to find out for God knows how long. And so we're going to hear this, and the last thing in our mind is going to be up. Well, we heard he's going to the Marlins. Screw this guy, and then who knows what's going to happen on the other side.
It looks
Go to
like
Texas.
they're looking for consistent players, guys that are steady throughout the season and don't have those big up and downs. Conforto's that guy, man. Conforto's up, boom, down, then up.
But his glove
They-
is
they-
steady.
Well, so
bless
they
him,
brought in
he
Kana.
plays great defense.
Yeah.
You know, he never lets
Kana
it
hit
affect his defense.
230 last year. So
I know,
you know,
but then it's a different thing. You don't expect 30 home runs from Kana. You don't expect 280 from Kana.
Right.
It's expectations, and Conforto's not living up to them. So the Mets are not going to pay him like he's a guy who's doing those things, because you can't pay him on. Oh, we hope you become a 25 to 30 home run guy,
Right.
and a 270 hitter. We're not going to pay you like that guy. You got to do it for at least a couple of years, dude, instead of being so up and down all the time. That's the problem with Conforto. Consistency. Maybe Buck knows something that could help him out, and he says, "Let's sign this kid. I can turn him around," because he's a Met, and he's got a sweet swing, man. When he's on, his swing is sweet. He just smashes the ball easily. So
yeah, when his swing is on, it's effortless. It's he smokes the ball to left field, all fields.
He's
hits it to all
28 years
fields with
old.
power.
He's got a
right.
he can right now step into that. But again, because of lockout, we're not sure. I don't know what kind of contract him and Farace is looking for. If they're looking for like a 10-year mega deal, no. I mean, I'm sorry.
No, I give him 5.
Yeah,
And that's a lot.
And that's generous.
but if you give him the 5 from age 28 or 29, depending on when his birthday is, to 33, 34, that's what you
Those are the
that's
best
what you
years.
like. Yeah,
That's what you want. And if he can't
that's what you like.
he can't be that guy, then trade him. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But,
Listen,
he's a good player, I think.
we've seen worse contracts. But
Did we drop a
again, to your
qualifying
point, Keith,
offer on him?
we have no idea who.
Did we drop a qualifying offer on Conforto?
Yeah. So we would get a pick.
Good. Because I think he's
Precious
gone,
picks.
which is going to make me sad. I would have liked to see him stay a Met. He's a great story, great potential. His defense saves us a lot of runs.
And he also won some big games for us.
We don't have a guy like him in the minors. We don't.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to bring up Mark Vientos and put him in the outfield, bring the rookie up. That kid hit 25 home runs last year, batted 280. But you want to bring him up and bring him up cheap? Yeah, bring him up then. Why not?
And is it that do they think they're fairly balanced now with lefty righty, or I mean, I'd like
lefty loaded.
Yeah.
So they brought
It also depends on what they're wanting to do with McNeil and Dom, because then you can go from one extreme to the other real quick.
If you get rid of those deals, absolutely.
Yeah. Marcus Stroman tweeting from a new team, whatever. All right, I think that about wraps it up for this time around. Our final show of the year. We head into. We'll take this question because I actually want to ask you, Rodriguez, but Ricky's jumping in here. Who do you think is better for the Mets? Is it Bryant or is it Story?
Story. I would sign Trevor Story, and I thought that I read somewhere that he is willing to play third base. So I think he can be a pretty good third baseman. He has the arm, and the kid averages like 25 to 30 home runs. He's a proven 270 hitter. I mean, he's basically it's what you think JD should be, but the defense is not going to be the same. Trevor Story is going to be the defense. Mm-hmm. That defense is going to be. That is going to make up the difference for whatever he lacks as a true third baseman. Maybe he might not have as much power any given year because he's a shortstop. But I think I would sign Trevor Story in a heartbeat. That would complete my offseason offensive signings.
But imagine all the moves that they've already made, and there's so much still left to do because of the variables that you're bringing up. Keith, you brought up a little while ago, and some of the comments here. If you bring in a Bryant or a Story, then are you more? Are you then leaning more towards trading JD Davis or using his strength and putting him in a DH, or do you want to save that for Alonso and move Dom Smith to first base? There's so many different things now that will be coming into play, so it'll be interesting as the lockout ends.
That's exactly
the
what they want to do.
Factor. The Colorado factor worries me about Story, to be honest.
But what happened with Arenado? I think Arenado. And I'm not saying that he's as good. I think he can be as good as Arenado. Not saying he is just yet, but I think Arenado did hit pretty well. The high 30s home runs.
Yeah, 255, like 34 right? Home runs.
Yeah,
105 ribbies. I mean, shoot, I'll take that any day of the year.
What was his average in last couple of years in Colorado?
His 162 game career average is 288. The last couple of years in Colorado, we're not going to include 2020 just because. I'll just throw it out there though, was 253. But in 2019, the last full season before last year was 315. 2018 was 397. 2017 was 309. So you're looking at just based off of those 3 years, you're looking at close to a 40.
Oh, 297? Okay.
297 in 2018.
Okay.
So based off of those 3 years, you're looking at an over 40-point drop in batting average. So if Trevor Story experiences a similar type of thing, now we're looking at a 230, 240 hitter. So it's
what did Story do?
He's a different type of hitter, though. He's not a pure power hitter like Arenado.
He's not. No, he's not. He's more of a
and he has speed.
More of a speed guy. Like, yeah.
So and then how many games did he play last year?
Arenado or Story?
And Arenado, 2020 and 2021.
And Arenado, he played 157 games last year. And in 2020, right? We're not going to really count that because it was a short.
Well, how many games was it though?
48.
So
then
about
155 going back, 155, 156, 159, 160.
No, I'm saying so over the last 200 games or so, he's hitting 250
over the last. Correct. Yep.
Okay. So maybe that's, but maybe we can revisit that in a couple of years, see if his average just stays down. But I think hitters can make adjustments from Colorado if you're named Arenado and Story. Then, you know, it's not for everybody, guys. It's not for everybody. Don't try it. Dangerous.
Exactly.
Right, but we thought we remember Tulowitzki.
But he was always hurt. That was a different.
Tulowitzki got hurt so often. He was always hurt and pissed fantasy players off.
Constant wrist injuries.
Cortez wants Nito behind the plate. That's going to be a discussion for 2022 because we're going to head on out for 2021 and hope 2022 is in all ways, shapes, and forms is better than 2021. But let's do a little round robin here. A little closing remarks from each of us from 2021. Keith, gotta get a freaking Fwakata in there before the end of the 2021 season.
Yeah, I'll wrap up my quick segment with a Fwakata. Just want to say, everybody, hope you all having a great holiday, enjoying your family. Hope you're
all having a terrible
peace
time
in your life. I hope that New Year's coming, that you guys have a wonderful time. Be safe, be responsible people. Don't drink and drive. It's just stupid. There's so many alternatives out there for you. AAA offers free towing. Cab services offer free rides.
You don't want to miss the championship season.
Yeah,
you've waited all these years. You don't want to wait.
Honestly, it's not even about you. It's
Or
about the other people that
be our game.
It's about the other people that you're going to potentially kill when you're drinking and driving. Just don't do it. It's just the dumbest, most selfish thing. Yeah, really, just cut it out. Let's go Mets. I am super excited about what we've done this year. Looking forward to next year. And I'm going to end it with my Fwakata, and that Fwakata is going to the lockout. This lockout is stupid. You need to stop it. Get your shit together, people. You guys are there to make millions. What are you bitching about? Fwakata lockout, Fwakata MLB, and Fwakata Baseball Players Association Union, whatever it is.
The Fwakata got even better with your eyes glowing red. It was great. It was perfect. It was like you were coming out through the depths of hell to scream and give that Fwakata. Sean makes a very good point. It is also perfectly acceptable to stay home and drink in front of your kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I'm inviting my kids over to drink with them. Well, to all of age now, you know.
All right. Thanks, Keith. Rodriguez, what you got?
All I gotta say is be safe, vaccinate, take care of your neighbor, take care of yourself. 2021 is over. Pretty much it's done. New year. New life, new president, new politics, new craziness, new nonsense, new Mets, much better Mets. So we'll have a good year, man. Be safe, please. Have a great new year. Don't drink and drive.
Yeah, be safe. We can't afford the loss in viewership.
We can't lose viewership, I know. Unless you give us your Mets season tickets and do whatever you want.
They were there, and a place to crash out when the homestands are going on. Producer Joe, wait, Rodriguez, do I have to ask your permission to let Producer Joe give a final statement for 2021?
Of course not. But he's got to wake him up though.
Oh, wake up, Producer Joe. Where's Keith? Is earthquake at Keith's house?
Get up, Joe. Joe, get up. Get up. Joe.
He's not Lassie.
Come on, Joe, wake up.
That's a good Joe. Good Joe. All right.
Good Joe.
We're not going to get anything out of Joe, but Joe is, okay, here he goes.
We set a record this year for first team that had over 100 days in first place and finished under 500 with a horrible. Well, no, I want to remember it because it's
Wow.
Okay. I'm with you, Rob. I'm listening.
We're putting it in the past. It was a horrible year for a number of reasons. The pandemic continuing on for an extra year, we didn't expect it to. Now we've got vaccines. We're getting. We're moving on past it. We're getting healthier, and we've made some amazing acquisitions. We've got a great new coach. We've got a great number 2 pitcher. We've got Sterlin Marte. We've gotten rid of some poison in the locker room, Thor, and we're gonna have a great year coming up. Just on several levels, on a personal level, on a Mets level. So, be careful on New Year's Eve. Do the right thing. Don't drink and drive. Just get through to next year, and let's go Mets.
That was very well said, Joe. Producer Joe. Very, very well said. Sean says, don't get to tune into you guys too often, but always love the conversations when I do get to catch you. Great job. We appreciate that. That does mean a lot to us. We end the year on a compliment.
We think you rock too, Sean. How about that?
All right. So that wraps it up for us. Be sure to check out popculturepros.com for all, it's a slow period right now, getting through the holiday season, and all the movies are going to start coming out again.
Oh, yeah. Everything.
In January, in January, we start up with some of the horror movies. Some horror flicks start coming out come January, and we'll start off with all the big giveaways one more time. But for the Mets, I'm scared to say that it's going to be a great year, but it's got to be a great year. This has to be. This is going to be it. Buck Showalter.
Great year.
Buck is going to get it done, baby.
Even when our biggest move was Brian McRae, it was going to be a great year.
Brian McRae. Number 56, center fielder Brian McRae.
Oh,
switch hitter. Weird. We'll spend the next 10 minutes talking about Brian McRae. But let's get out of here. We will talk to you guys. I don't want to make a bad dad joke, but we'll talk to you guys next year. Until then, peace out, everybody. Peace.
Anyway, later.
Put up the bonus.